What is going on, my people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Naseem the Dream, and we are continuing on with the annual Ntd Awards. With this video, I will be naming my top 15 EPs of 2022. Now, if you're new to the channel, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel to support it, to get more content, and please help the channel grow. I'd really appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much. So let's just burn through these top 15 EPs. Let's do it. Number 15, I will be awarding it to Rachel Chinouriri's Better Off Without EP. Now, if you're not familiar with the artist Rachel Chinouriri, that goes along with some R&B and pop influences, this is a project you should most definitely check out for your first time because of the reasons what I'm about to say. It's very simple, it's to the point, but yet it is so endearing and so passionate with its singing and songwriting. Rachel just continues to prove that she can just dominate with excellent vocal performance and pop influence and just keep going on with so much more dynamic and versatility as the years go on. This right here is just a collection of pop and R&B tracks to prove the potency and consistency from Rachel Chinouriri as she continues to deliver something easy to digest but just so delicious in flavor. And then we're gonna go with the number 14 spot. I will be awarding that to Coherbies' 1001 Lukewarm USA. Mr. Fantano, this is the kind of music I oh so desire to be requested to try out. Projects like these are just so low-key and present so much edge to the genre chosen. With this EP, they choose some punk rock and noise fusions with such authenticity that can really be just so rare to find on my own and just as an individual user on its own. But really, these guys just seriously kicked ass on this project. This mix is so grungy, so textured, and just so like, I don't know, I really don't know how to say that. It's got a nice feel to it. It's like a old school kind of like vintage feel, you know what I mean? Like it's old, but it's like kept new at the same time, but it's got like this like texture to it where it's like, it's not too smooth. It's like got like that dirt under there, but it's just fresh, man. It's a must-need check out if you're into that kind of music. Number 13, we're gonna award that to Burial, Antidawn EP. The name Burial at this point is just so legend to the soundtrack of ambient electronic music, conducting some of the most intriguing, profound, and delicate electronic music in the generation. And this EP is, sure, it's questionably long to be considered an EP, but in my opinion, on top of that, it's really just too low-key and flat out really underrated to really consider. But I personally just found this to be like such a deep and spacious and atmospheric ambient place EP that's just like really nice to place in the background as these like, this just like feels like really stripped back, but like there's moments in here that feel like with these tracks that are layered that just feel like they're very intriguing and also very meditative. Burial is just still displaying such great glitch and experimental explorations on this EP with the slightest touch and still reaches my interest, and I just really feel like this sounds like an incredibly blissful sonic experience. Number 12, that will be to Fatlip and Blues Live from the End of the World. These boys really deliver a greatly crafted conscious rap EP with great features, great instrumentation, fantastic production all the way through to the very end. And there's really not that much to say about this. You know, it's pretty simple conscious rap, but man, very eccentric and authentic production and just really great beats to listen to and very great bars on each of these songs that are very memorable. That's enough said. You should check this out. Number 11 is gonna go to Fire-Toolz. I will not use the body's eyes today. This is just this is a tough one to explain. Like, okay, I feel like I can explain this somewhat with like what the influences bring into this project, right? Like there's executions of like, you know, like some metal, some ambient music, some experimental, some alternative rock. But at the same time, like with all these fuses, it kind of just feels like it's like falling down this like rabbit hole, like maybe like some kind of like dark hole as it's like jabbing and like wonky with some like oddball fuses and production styles. It really just like kind of tricks the listener here and there and throws things at you in certain passages that are just so unexpected. I think that was the thing that really made me love this EP, is how surprising so many moments and just how unpredictable moments on this EP were. And I don't know, I feel like that's a really difficult thing to really execute with something like that, because like sometimes it could just feel absolutely random and, you know, and not really be like delivered well, you know what I mean? But the things that they really try on here, man, it just works. It really does work. This is a high recommendation for me. Top 10, I will be awarding the number 10 spot to Paranoil and Asian Glow's Paraglow. If you're looking for some extroverted, righteous post-punk and indie vibes with some great singing, great shoegaze vibes, immaculate instrumentation, look no further. This is where you're at right now, bud. Asian Glow is a fairly new artist for me that I've been somewhat familiar with throughout the year, but Paranoil, I haven't recollect any time I've tried them out. With the handful of things I've had the opportunity to listen from both of these artists, the creativity is scaling very high so far. This EP brings a foundation of garage rock while it's dressing into multiple personalities of rock fuses and tones that just involve so much color, so much texture, and this thing is just absolutely incredible. I really, really like this. Mucho magnifico. All right, number 9. I'm going to go with Cryalot's Icarus. Man, I seriously loved this EP once the day it dropped because in terms of production and hard-hitting synthesizers and songwriting material, the songs on here just really just smack you right in the face. Songs like Hurt Me just give such a great contrast in terms of hot and sweet flavors with also an even greater punch towards the bridge, as well as aggressively hard cuts such as Hell Is Here that invoke a much more sinister environment to the mix that really just drill in a lot of huge bass moments into the speakers that fuel the mind of dopamine. This EP is sick all the way through. It felt like it was so intense. There was moments with the screaming on here that just felt so edgy and really felt really potent with the aggression. I'm loving it. It's so gnarly. It's a great time. And then for number 8, we're gonna go with Spy and Maniacs EP Split. Noise rock and punk rock smack the naysayers with a mighty, mighty blow. With the band Spy and Maniac collabing with these 2 singles from each of them, collabing with a total of 4 tracks on here, this is just a fucking intense ride all the way through. God, man. Like, I just wish if I was in the moment when I was watching these 2 bands live, I really wish I was just throwing elbows into that pit. Because dear fucking God, man. Like, these fuckers are getting loud, man. The intensity just never simmers down. Not a single point. There's probably moments where it just ups even more, especially when Maniac hits the ground. One track after another Kickstarter to another, and the adrenaline, like I said, it's just pumping so much with the hardcore aesthetics and thrash metal aesthetics. All in all, this is an absolutely violent EP. It is violent. It is so hardcore, so punk rock. Love it. Number 7 spot, I'm going to give it to Efron and G. Jones Acid Disc 2. On here, we got them boys, Efron and G. Jones, doing what they do best, collabing and just making absolute fire while dropping Acid Disc 2 on us. Incredibly creative and profound sound design that is peaked with these 2 masterminds in the studio. Peaked. Dance music never felt so drippy, so psychedelic, so down-tempoed, so experimental. And yeah, these 2 are really throwing it down on the turntables. This whole EP just kind of sounds like it's feeling like in some kind of like quarantine atmosphere, and it like gets so defined in its sound with its modulations and oscillation layerings. The sounds, like I said, are just so profound and as moments very, very jarring, and it just feels like so true to the dance elements on the genre, and it's incredible how authentic this mix really sounds. Like, a creation like this just baffles me on how it really sounds still like a dance mix. The drums, the synthesizers, the funk vocals, the LFOs, the sound tables, mind-blowing. Number 6 spot goes to Spear Cassius' Visions of a Fragmented World. This is the kind of metalcore and hardcore that you can't ever find this anywhere, man. I'm not kidding, guys. Some of the breakdowns in here are just so gnarly. They continuously switch up things in certain tracks and just keep things super interesting, keep certain ways to keep the listener engaged. And I feel like, especially if you're into the metal world, especially into hardcore and noise rock, this is a kind of EP that really tries to switch up the game and try to figure out how to really bring in shock factor and surprises that you feel like you want something that's coming up next, but they give you something totally different that you didn't realize that you wanted at all. If you're like me and you completely indulge into the metal genre as your like daily diet for certain things and certain routines, this is the kind of band that you're going to want to go off of and look at the related searches because they're throwing it down. We are now getting into the number 5 spot on this list. I will be awarding that to Mike, Wiki, and the Alchemist's EP, one more. 3 tracks, super simple, super New York type of style, boom bap aesthetics, and really throw about with great hip hop moments. I love it what these rappers do together. The Alchemist just those very great beats on here all the way through. Great moments on here, great switch ups. Overall, great production. I love the touch ups. I love what they do in the instrumentation. Wiki and Mike just go off each other so beautifully, so well. The chemistry between these two guys really just does really work so well. It's so smooth. It's so blissful. And man, I don't know, man. Like, this trio just works so well. It really does. They really get to it. They really get it down. They get to business. They throw it down. They love their background influences, especially when it comes to New York style boom bap aesthetics. Like I said, they really get to it. And it's just fantastic. Number 4 spot. That will be given to Ginger Root's Nisemono. Ginger Root is an indie alternative force to be reckoned with. These collection of tracks truly did impress me. Admittedly, yes, I needed to get a few listens in to really understand what I was really hearing, but the delivery really made it home safe after those 2 listens, man. They were great. The singing is amazing, and it's matched with the alluring tones and color palettes with these instrumentals that they give off, because man, there is a shit ton of color off these tracks. It's creative yet so addictive with the hooks by the second, and only becomes more potent by the listen. Ginger Root just brought out something so special out of this project. Everything on here just feels so tight and smooth throughout this play and really falls down on cue. Not a single moment on here that was wasted on this project. Not a single damn moment. And honestly, I just see this EP growing more and more on me as I play it throughout the year. It really does show great quality and great potential from Ginger Root. So well done. Number 3. That will be given to LustSickPuppy, As Hard As You Can. This is such a wacky hyper metal EP at its finest. Every single moment on here, Lustick Baby had me twist and turn, had me shocked, had me aggressive, had me throwing down, had me bopping and dancing, and sure as hell had me dying laughing. If you play this EP, I think you know what part I'm talking about.
Oh God, he's peeing on me.
The emotions were all over the place for me, man. Like, there's just so many great, hilarious integrations on here. Jarring production. Seriously, amazing what she's doing with the distortions on here. Really blew off the screen on here. And the scenarios in the mix? Whoa. But man, LustSickPuppy, As Hard As You Can. Number 2, man. I've been so addicted to this EP. Flows the lead. Wow. You can't get any more better when it comes to throwback 2000s R&B like this, man. This has TLC written all over it. You can even say Destiny's Child, maybe even a little bit of Aaliyah. But wow, man, this brings me back. This EP really does bring me back to growing up, man. What really got me in love with R&B in the 2000s era, man. Not a single song misses on this fucking EP, man. Cardboard Box already is just a hell of a beginner for this EP. Summertime is probably my favorite on here. Immature already dives in. This is like, you know, great masculine, like, ideals about, like, issues when it comes to men. You know, just, like, failing to open up into a relationship. And like, I feel like I could get so much shit for this because in terms of complexity, it's very low compared to most of these EPs that I've already talked about. The creativity scale is not as high as those, but dude, these choruses are so good. The singing is absolutely amazing all the way through. Simplicity is the game winner in this scenario. It really is. These girls killed it all the way through. Their combinations, their chemistry, the way they go about all the way through these songs, the way they switch off with each other is planned so well. Execution is superb. Every single song on here absolutely destroys, and I love the acoustic ending off of here. Wow. Flow the lead. Number 2. Great EP. Number 1, man. Number 1. Like I said, this was hard to pick, but dude, this one is a sure getter. Number 1 spot, Nia Archives, Forbidden Feelingz. What really made me love this one as well, same thing, I really love the throwback aesthetics when it comes to some of the R&B feels, and you know, when it works with like more dance elements in here as well. The tempos on here when it comes to the high drum patterns are really turning things up, and man, there's even some like samba flavors though, and maybe a little bit of reggae on this EP that really makes up the flavor and tempo. And Nia at the same time is producing an eruption from me, just really pushing me to the limit, making me want to shake my knees till I loosen the arthritis in my joints. points. Track to track, there is just something so different to be offered as instrumentation. At one point, you can get great moments with the lead guitars that sound very, very clean. And at another point, you can get something really nice with some killer warm bass. And then all of a sudden, boom, you get smacked in the face with a amazing jazz fusion, man. The production is amazing. I felt the rhythm all the way through, not a single hiccup on here, man. I was moving. I was getting it. I felt what she was going in. I love the way she chopped up some of the vocals on here, and she just executed this thing so well. This is another thing that I think is such a benefit to this EP. It's another thing that is just so tight and condensed so well, but it continues to be so consistent with its pacing at the same time. Nia is just dominating in terms of what people are already doing in current alternative dance and R&B. And this mix, like I said, it's static, it's lucid, it's also very present into the vocal performances, and it's just so crisp at the same time. The mix is just solid and prestigious. It's a must try. Like, I really don't see why, if you don't like those genres, you shouldn't try this. Nia Archives is the shit. This is a force to be reckoned with as well. You need to keep an eye out for this girl, because she is destroying this with the 1-2 punch in this collection, and that is exactly why Nia Archives is my #1 EP. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you've listened to these projects. So what did you think of them? What were your favorite EPs of the year? Let me know in the comments. I really, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like that son of a gun. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man. Come on, show some support to your boy. Show some support to your boy, Ntd Ntd Dream. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Deuces.